So when I started dating Rocky, did you think I was going to marry Rocky? If Rocky doesn't cry when I walk down the aisle, I'm turning back around. You can come on your honeymoon flight, but you actually have to work the flight to get there. Hey friends, so Rocky has a severe case of the man flu today, so he is nursing himself back to health and won't be participating, but all the way from England just to be here for Wedding Wednesday, and for that only, is the wonderful Mama Jones.
Hello.
She is in town from England this week, so I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of wedding chat since we've been doing some planning while she's been here. Wedding planning is either more efficient or chaotic this week, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure how much you've actually put in place and booked for this wedding. I think we're still at the sort of manifesting the wedding at this stage.
It's true, I'm not very good at making decisions, which I guess I've got to get better at in this wedding planning journey, but we'll get there. So how have I been planning this wedding so far?
Specific and vague at the same time, I would say. For example, the floral displays, when I've asked Rebecca for details of what she'd like, I've just had, well, I want the flowers to be shoo. I'm not sure what that means.
It makes sense in my head. But Mum and Dad have been married for 37 years, which I think that's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone's going to know how to do a wedding and to have a lasting marriage, I guess it's you.
Well, I'd like to think so. And you've also got grandparents who are going to be celebrating their 70th wedding anniversary this year. So long and successful marriages running the family.
Yeah, no pressure, Rocky, but you got to stay with me. So I feel like a lot has obviously changed since you got married and now. But let's talk a little bit about your wedding. So what was your wedding like? What were you most excited about on your wedding day?
Well, I suppose our wedding was quite traditional at the time. I was really excited about wearing my wedding dress, but also about having family and friends together to celebrate with us. But as I say, things were very different 37 years ago to what they seem to be nowadays.
How did you feel when you walked down the aisle?
When I walked down the aisle, I think I was excited, a little bit nervous because all eyes are on you.
How many people did you have at your wedding?
I think we had about 120.
120?
Yeah, about 120.
Did you know them all?
Yes, family, friends from university, friends from back home. 120 friends and family. Having said that, some of them we're not in touch with now, but at the time they were really good friends. There are people we've met since that I find it hard to believe weren't at our wedding, but we didn't actually know them.
So if you were to have your wedding now, it would be a completely different group.
Oh, well, apart from family.
And I'd be there, obviously.
And yes, so family members have changed a little. Some have gone and others have arrived.
What was your first dance song?
We didn't actually have a first dance because we had a late morning wedding.
Wait, I thought this was like a tradition, like this is an old tradition, the first dance.
Well, it is a tradition, but
Not that you're old, but...
Yeah, back in the Victorian days. Yeah, I think it is a tradition, but it depends on the time of day you have your wedding. We had a late morning wedding.
What time was your ceremony?
Our ceremony was at 11. And then
so wait, what time did you start getting ready?
Probably I got up at about 6.
She was speedy.
Had a cup of tea, did my own hair. I did have my makeup done. I had one bridesmaid who was my sister, and then I had a flower girl and a page boy who were my cousin's children.
I feel like that feels very stress-free.
It was very stress-free, but I don't think the expectations back in those days were quite the same as they are today.
Were you on time getting to the church?
I was, yes.
If there's one thing that Mama Jones is she's very on time, so that, you didn't keep Dad waiting.
No.
Did he cry when you walked out?
No, not at all.
If Rocky doesn't cry when I walk down the aisle, I'm turning back around. This boy cries for anything. So if he doesn't cry at the sight of me in white walking out in the church, we're going to have a problem.
Okay, well, yeah, but your dad...
He knows this, don't worry.
Well, okay, I was going to say, as long as he knows. That,
We will watch TV shows and he's crying over strangers just because they're living out their dream. Like, not even a sad story. So he can cry at me in white.
Yeah, well, that's nice. That's nice. He's showing his, his emotions.
Yeah, sharing his feelings.
But that's not your dad.
I feel like if Dad cried out, it would be out of character. So you'd almost be a little
I'd
bit
be
worried. Like,
yes,
why is
I'd
he
be
crying?
very worried.
Were there any fashion choices at your wedding that you would regret now?
Oh, well, probably lots, because we got married in the 80s, 1988. So bridal styles were very different then. Colour schemes are very different.
Big sleeves.
Yeah, it was sort of just post Princess Diana and Prince
R.I.P.
Charles getting married. And so the dream dress was something along the lines of Princess Diana's. So yeah, big sleeves with bows and cuffs, a bo peep skirt, quite a full skirt.
Let's just say this tradition of wearing your mum's wedding dress for any part of your wedding journey, I'm not sure how we're going to tie that one in.
Okay, I can still get into my wedding dress though.
Perfect, you can wear it to my wedding. Sorted.
If I were getting married today, well, my choices would be very different, but at the time they were exactly what I wanted.
If you were planning your wedding now, what would you do differently?
Oh, I'd probably do things quite a lot differently. I'd probably still stick to a similar sort of time, around lunchtime. I'd like to have an afternoon reception.
Yeah, then you could be in bed by 8, 9, and
Well, no, then
you get your 8 hours sleep.
No, we'd probably have an evening party as well, because we didn't, because we got married at lunchtime. We had the afternoon reception, which was like lunch, and then we went off on our honeymoon.
I feel like your honeymoon was I've never heard of other people doing this, so can you just explain how your honeymoon went down?
Okay, I had no idea where we were going. So
Rocky could never pull that off.
Well, he pulled off a good surprise last year when we came over to surprise you and you got engaged. So,
rewind an episode
give
or
the
two
boy a break.
and you'll see how that went. I was on to him. So him planning our
yes,
honeymoon.
you had no idea. But anyway, we spent the first few nights in the Cotswolds, which is a very pretty part of England. But after 2 or 3 days, we were then going away abroad on holiday. And I knew we were going abroad, but I had no idea where.
So how did you know what to pack?
I'd been told I needed to pack some really nice dressy clothes, but I also needed to pack some real casual clothes. I needed to pack shoes for walking. I needed to pack shoes and clothes for the beach. So I had no idea. I'd also had to have vaccinations.
Okay, so you knew you were going somewhere.
Well, either that or it was a really big red herring that your dad was throwing, who was making me
You
have
can't just
vaccinations for nothing.
inject someone for no reason.
Well,
So wait, when you show up to the airport, where did you honestly think you were going? Like,
in
your mind, what were you? You must have had an idea.
I had absolutely no idea at all. Assuming it was somewhere warm, because most of the clothes I'd been told to pack were for warm weather, but I'd also been told to pack 1 or 2 things for cooler temperatures.
Really
Anyway,
threw you off there.
the long and short of it is that we were gifted the flights for our honeymoon.
Oh, that is so
That is
on
so
brand for Dad. And we're going here because we got gifted them.
Well, no, we got gifted flights, and
By
he
who?
could choose the location. So it was...
Who gifted you the flights?
It was a company that Dad was working for.
My dad was the original influencer. He was sent on a PR trip for this honeymoon.
So no, they had said they would pay for the flights to place of his choice.
What's the company? Should I reach out?
They don't exist anymore. But we were going as if we were British Airways staff. So
you can come on your honeymoon flight, but you actually have to work the flight to get there.
No,
You're handing out the meals, giving people drinks.
No, not like that at all. We were when you work for an airline, you get lots of free holidays and trips And it was as if we were on that. So you sort of don't know whether you're going to get on the flight. So this was a bit of a risky option for your dad, because it wasn't 100% guaranteed we got on the flight. So
That was a big risk.
But we had to wait in this room, and they finally called our names, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. And I jumped up saying, "Oh, great, we're on." And the person next to me said, "Oh, where are you going?" And I said, "I have absolutely no idea, but we're actually on the flight." And by the time we got to the flight, the gates was closed, the destination was down. So the first I knew about...
I'm sorry, you guys were cutting this very close. You didn't know where you were going. You had to work the flight. You didn't even pay for the flight. And then you get there and everything's closed. Everything's boarded. There's no evidence of where you're going. This sounds like you're being kidnapped rather than going on your honeymoon.
No, we got onto the flight and we sat down, and then they just say, "Welcome to," and it was BA flight, whatever, to Nairobi in Kenya. And that was the first time I knew definitely where we were going. And
then you had a long flight to sit and think about it.
Yes. So we basically had a week on the beach near Mombasa in Kenya, and then we went on safari. We stayed at Treetops, which is where the Queen and the Prince of the Duke of Edinburgh were when they went to Kenya. And we went to the Outspan, which was another place where the Queen used to go, and we stayed at a safari lodge where Prince Charles had stayed. So
you went from working a BA flight to being in the royal family by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Maybe if this is where this story ended, maybe Rocky will plan our honeymoon as a surprise.
Well, you'll have to wait and see.
That could work out pretty well.
Yeah, it's a brave man who tries to surprise you, though, Rebecca.
Okay, enough about you. So let's get back to me as the bride here. So growing up, did I ever talk about being a bride, about a wedding? Do you remember anything like that?
Yeah, you played weddings. You know, you'd play at weddings, and
I was a performer always.
Granny Martin made you and Rachel these sort of dressing up dresses, and one of them was a wedding dress, and it had a veil, and there was a little posy of flowers, and you would play at being brides.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if there was a costume that we didn't have in our dressing up box. I would spend hours. I would do full 3-hour-long performances with multiple quick changes.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah.
I feel like the one-legged Ariel costume deserves a mention, complete with the red matted wig that just kept getting worse and worse.
Yeah, you had Belle, you had Snow White, you had...
If there was a Disney princess outfit, we had it.
Yeah, what was the one in Aladdin?
Jasmine. That was a personal favourite, with the shoes.
Yes. And you had
Tinkerbell. Did you ever think about me getting married?
Well, I assumed you probably would, if there was anyone brave enough to take you on. But I didn't actually picture the wedding as such, because, well, that's for you to do, not me. It's your wedding, not mine. So
when I started dating Rocky, did you think I was going to marry Rocky?
Well, I didn't know at first, because, when it's very early days,
she wasn't
you don't
sure.
know. But then the longer you were together, I thought, well, this is probably going to end in wedding bells.
Are you excited for my wedding?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm very excited.
Yeah?
Yeah. Although we have got to survive another, 19, 20 months of preparations.
Yes.
So
I'm happy that we have a long
we're in this for the long haul.
Yeah.
But no, very excited.
What are you excited about the planning process?
Other
than it being over.
Well, it's different because it's a wedding, sort of a transatlantic wedding. Got American traditions and English traditions that will be incorporated into it.
Do you see any similarities between my wedding planning and your wedding planning? I feel like we're both perfectionists.
Yes, both people of detail, both wanting perfection. But actually, back in the day, the level of planning that went into a wedding was nothing like what goes into one today. Things were much more straightforward. There was a way of doing it. And if you were going down the traditional wedding route, well, then that's, there were certain things you did. And
so I should have got married in the 1980s, is what you're saying?
Well, it's a lot
Sounds
easier.
like a lot less
It was a lot
stress.
easier, yeah. But we both like to sort of create and do things. So you're wanting to sort of create things yourself.
Being a little bit of a DIY bride.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm not sure if it's just like, I have the Pinterest boards, but I feel like there might be quite a lot of Pinterest fails along the way. But, you know, we'll try.
Well, there's plenty of time.
Got my hot glue gun
Yeah.
at the ready.
Whereas, we were much more, your stationery, your wedding stationery was generally something you had printed. But yeah, I wrote out all the name cards myself and the seating plan.
Great, can you do mine?
Yeah, so it's quite nice to get other people involved as well, so that people who know you and have been involved in your life that actually play a part on the day as
Yeah,
well.
that is sweet. So, what's one piece of advice you would give to me on my wedding day?
Just relax, go with the flow, and enjoy
Relax
it.
is not
Yeah.
something I do.
Well, I just think on your wedding day, it is over. This is a cliche, but it is over so quickly. So just enjoy every
I'm
moment.
actually kind of sad. I'm really excited about it all happening, but like similar to my proposal, I was so excited about like it happening at some point, and now it's done. I'm like a little bit sad that I don't get
Yeah.
another one. So I am a bit sad that like my wedding is going to be over.
Yeah.
Rocky did say we can renew our vows. That was in the last video, and I'm going to hold him to that one. So it won't be like the end of the end. There might be a grand finale when we renew our vows.
No, but I think you've got then all the excitement of being married and all the adventures that ahead in the future.
So after 37 years of marriage, we're going to end this on one last question. What is the one piece of marriage advice you would give to Rocky and I?
Be prepared to compromise, because I think
Rocky, be prepared to compromise, okay? You hear that?
That's both of you. I think sometimes people think that they will change someone to be the person that they ideally want them to be, but actually you're marrying the person for who they are. And when things don't quite match up with how you like them, then you compromise, and they do the same when things don't quite match up with how they like them.
There we have it, guys. Mama Jones has spoken. The key to a successful marriage is compromise. Well, we're going to wrap it up there for this week. So thank you, Mum, for being in the video this week, making your big Wedding Wednesday debut. And we'll be back next week with hopefully a healthy, well Rocky to be chatting with you as well. Bye.
Bye.